I'm afraid to talk to Elizabeth about this because I know I'm about to get a lashing. They were step-siblings, so I am not completely against it.
There was no need for him to be her ex-stepbrother. No.
I get why. The weirder part to me is that he's in college. That is unacceptable.
That is unacceptable. Like, I get where you're coming from, but no. That's a solid no. Hello and welcome to the Art of Costume Blogcast. I'm Elizabeth Joy Glass.
And I am Lord Spencer.
Yeah, sure. A little piece of paper does not make you a lord, Spencer.
I am a lord. I showed you the certificate.
For owning 1 square foot of land. That makes you a lord.
Look, okay.
I feel like that's a scam, Spencer. I feel like you were scammed.
I was not scammed. I have pictures of the property and a certificate and a sticker that says I am a lord. Okay? The people of Scotland might find me insufferable, lord. They might find me an insufferable lord, but here in America, I am of royalty, and I just think that it's about time that I just feel like I should be a little bit more recognized for my lordship. That's all I'm trying to get at.
No. I will not be recognizing you as a lord.
Oh, gosh.
Lord Daniel White, on the other hand, very respectable gentleman.
Hey, I made him a lord.
I think he gained his lordship through hard work on this podcast.
Okay. I am King Arthur and Daniel is Sir Gawain, all right? That is how this lordship hierarchy goes.
Daniel, if you want to kick Spencer off the podcast, I'll support this decision.
I could go back to watching episodes of The Office whenever I want them. Hi, Elizabeth. It's good to see you. How was your week?
Hi. It's good to see you, too. It was fine.
Mine was great. Want to know why? Because I went through it as a lord. Life is different when you're a lord.
I don't believe you. Remember, I know you from the days before.
All right, let's not get crazy.
I'm like those little hand-stitched pillows that say, "You will always be my best friend. You know too much." That is what I am to you.
You're starting to scare me now.
I mean, it's a two-way street. You know too much about me for us to never not be friends.
Right. All right, Elizabeth. Well, what are we watching this week?
We are watching the story of a true lady. We are watching the classic, classy film based on the Jane Austen classic of Emma. Today, we are watching Clueless.
Oh, finally. It's like we cannot do a costume design podcast without first talking about Clueless, because Clueless, when I think about costume design, I think about Clueless and Mona May.
So this is my first time watching Clueless, but, like, I know, it's shameful.
Yeah.
I accept that.
I just can't even with you.
I still recognize, like, the majority of the costumes in it, because you see them everywhere.
I mean, we'll get into it, but Clueless really put 90s fashion on the map. It put costume design on the map. Just Clueless it's almost like this is what started it all for some of us, and Clueless deserves all the props. So I'm so excited to watch and talk about this with you. I've seen this movie a million times, so I don't know. I'm glad that you're catching up. I'm
catching up. I had so much fun watching it, and I think you should just roll into your summary. We need to get into this.
Okay. All right. By the way, Clueless is a very hard movie to summarize. It's Clueless. But for the summary this week, shallow, rich, and socially successful Cher is at the top of her class in the Beverly Hills, Los Angeles area. Seeing herself as a matchmaker, Cher sets up 2 teachers, convincing them to date each other without them knowing Cher was behind it. Then new student Tay comes into town. Cher and her best friend Dionne give Tay a makeover, setting Cher out on her own journey of her own self-realization, learning more of who she is and what she wants in life. Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. If you haven't seen this film and didn't want any spoilers, that's as not spoilery as it's going to get. So stop here, go watch it. It's been out for 25 years. You should have seen this.
Right. Oh my gosh.
No, it's been out for more than 25 years. It's been out for I think we were like 1 when this came out.
I did this past year I did a 25th anniversary interview with Mona May, and it was one of my greatest honors as a costume design journalist.
So yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on HBO Max. It's not hard to find.
Yeah. Literally. All right, bring us into some behind the wardrobe facts.
Oh, we're going behind the wardrobe because director Amy Heckerling and the incredible, iconic costume designer Mona May did a kick-ass job. This is amazing. You will know Mona May from her other kick-ass work, like The Wedding Singer, Never Been Kissed, Rami and Michelle's High School Reunion, The House Bunny, Enchanted, Santa Clarita Diet, and A Night at the Roxbury.
Oh, so good.
You're going to know her from something. She's all over the place. If you don't know who Mona May is and you're listening to this podcast, do your research.
Mona May is one of the greatest people I've ever met. I absolutely love her. She is so cool, so hip. She knows fashion. She knows costumes. She's also the nicest person you'll ever meet. I've never met someone in this industry that is as nice as Mona May. She is the coolest.
She is so cool, and she does such a good job in this movie, and it sounds like it was a monumental task. She had about $200,000 to make this movie. And do you want to hear how many changes some of the actors had, Spencer?
Please tell me.
On only $200,000.
Which is like nothing.
It's nothing. It really is nothing. I know that sounds like a lot to people. For how they dress them, it is nothing. So Cher, our main character, had 60 costume changes. Dionne, her friend, had 50. Tay had 40. And then she dressed all the background actors. She dressed all of them. So that's hundreds more costumes for all the kids at the high school, all the kids at the parties. They dressed everybody on $200,000.
That's insane. I still don't get how she did it.
I don't know how she did it. She said in an interview with Vogue, I shopped everywhere. I went to the mall. I went to thrift stores. I had to be resourceful to make this happen. And she made it happen. She did such a good job. She wanted the girls to look like Beverly Hills fashionistas who had enough money to go to Europe and buy all these great designers. But she was like, I don't want them to act like snobby models. She still wanted them to feel like high school students. And at this time, the grunge style is so strong. She wanted to really put a super cutesy spin on everything and make it be oh, these are just two cute high school girls dressing the best they can, the best they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, the costumes on Cher and Dionne just alone are absolutely brilliant. But the fact that she had to dress all these background characters, and we're not just talking about just basic costumes. We're talking about high school characters we all know, the skateboarders, the surfers, the teachers, the preppy kids, the cheerleaders. She created all these costumes and was able to identify all these different characters just in the background.
Yeah, and she said she wanted to communicate through the clothes and their color, the psychology of each person, so that when you looked at them, they didn't have to open their mouth to tell you who they were. And it's they do that classic high school thing of this is this group of kids and that's that group of kids. But even if they didn't do that, you would still know exactly what group each of these kids falls into.
Exactly. This is just a masterclass in costume design. I'm just so excited to talk about it with you. It's so much fun. And I love this movie. I mean, how could you not love this movie? It's just fun.
It's so much fun. It didn't age the best, I will say. Some of the content, I was a little that wouldn't fly today. However,
some of the jokes are very 90s.
Yes. And I don't think you could get away with having a teenage girl date her ex-step-brother in college.
Okay. I have lots of thoughts on this, but we'll get to it when we get there in the episode.
We'll we're going to take a little break and then we're going to hop right into it.
I'm so ready. Elizabeth, are you ready to finally get into Clueless?
I am ready.
As if. Let's do it. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So to sum up the first part of this movie, Cher Horowitz lives in a Beverly Hills mansion with her wealthy father, Mel, a gruff litigator. Her mother died during a routine liposuction procedure when she was a baby. Rest in peace. Cher is attractive, stylish, good-natured, and popular. She attends Bronson Alcott High School, which is based upon the Beverly Hills area, with her best friend Dionne Davenport, who is also wealthy and beautiful. Josh, socially conscious ex-stepbrother, played by Paul Rudd, visits her during a break from college. They spar, but playfully. She mocks his idealism while he teases her for being a selfish, vain, and superficial, saying that her only direction in life is towards the mall.
I cannot believe we're dealing with this same old Legally Blonde.
Right? Not this again. We're here.
Like, taunting and putting down somebody for liking fashion all over again.
Totally. So gross. We're just gonna, I think you and I are just gonna see this in like every podcast episode we do now.
I know.
After receiving a poor grade, Cher decides to play matchmaker for two hard-grading teachers at her school, Mr. Hall and Miss Geist. She orchestrates a romance between the two teachers to make them relax their grading standards so she can renegotiate a bad grade on her report card. After seeing their newfound happiness, Cher realizes that she enjoys doing good deeds for people. You know, she's a woman of the people now.
Oh, yeah.
She then decides to give back to the community by adopting a tragically unhip new girl at school, Ty Frazier. And that is the first part of Clueless.
This was so much fun. Like, we gotta just jump into this. Those plaid suits at the beginning.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this is after Shuri already picked her costume from this wonderful closet computer that is 2021. I don't know how we don't have this yet.
I need one, but we don't have enough money for that. We don't have enough money for that. That's like a rich people item.
Plus, my closet is all black, so I don't think it'd really do much for me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the plaid costumes, because these costumes are monumental. You know, this put Mona May on the map as a costume designer, but also it put costume design on a map. I feel like so much of what we do is because of costumes like these two in Clueless. They're iconic.
Absolutely. In a Forbes article, Mona May said, "We wanted to use plaid as a nod to a Catholic school uniform, but taken to another level, and of course turned designer. Because everything she wears is designer. And I love the yellow. They wanted her to be like a ray of sunshine against all the green around campus. And it's like, that's exactly what she is.
Yeah, especially like we're in the 90s. We're in the midst of like the real grunge movement. So it was so nice seeing like this ray of sunshine, like you said, on Cher. Also, I love that you mentioned that so much of their costumes are inspired by European fashion shows. So I love how the students like were slowly incorporating these trends, but not making their entire identity about runway, but just listening to the trends.
She wanted them to be very designer inspired, but she didn't want them to be like I said before, like the uptight snobs about it. Like she wanted them to be actual high schoolers. And in that same Forbes article, she's quoted, "The goal was to make it very feminine because at the time it was all about grunge. We wanted to bring something very fresh. And I've always felt femininity is so important for girls to express with confidence." And that's what she really puts forward in these outfits.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oh, I love the contrast of the yellow against Dionne's black and red, too. The black vinyl with the red is just perfect.
I know, it's so perfect. I love that, like, they're not just, like, carbon copies of each other. Like, Dionne has her own little bit of style with the hat. And in an interview with Pop Sugar, she said, "I designed the black and white plaid suit for Dionne and added the vinyl lapel to match the hat. I really had creative freedom to do that, to bring all the elements. Then we just went crazy with the Dr. Seuss hat.
Dr. Seuss hat. I love that. That is so brilliant.
I love, because they're like the fashion leaders at this school, because they're like, low-key, they're kind of nemesis Amber. She wears something very similar, but it's all red. And then she has this like sailor hat with the money sign on it.
It's like Amber's the frenemy they're friends with, but they're not like best friends with. And she is trying, it feels like throughout the film, she's trying to take their fashion and almost try to make it better on herself. It doesn't always hit the same way. But I just love Amber as a character. Her hair is the absolute best. I love it so much.
Yeah, she's great. But then I love like school, everyone's glamorous. And all the kids, it's like, this is where you see like, oh yeah, they're all like very unique.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everyone, like we were talking about earlier, has their own style. All the skateboarders feel really defined. All the students feel very defined. All the teachers feel very defined. It's like the reason why I love Mona May so much, seeing this in all of her other films, like in Night at the Roxbury, Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, Enchanted, which we're going to talk about at one point. It's just, Mona May's able to create like fully realized worlds with her costume design. I mean, it's like she built this entire world of Clueless through the costumes.
Yeah, she really does. And like, I was really excited when Wallace Shawn showed up on screen as Mr. Hall. Like, I love him. And he was so funny. And then like his look, he's like the typical like hard grading teacher with his sweater vest, and it's all like brown and boring. And it's just like, oh, I know that teacher.
Yeah, he's like wearing like this frumpy brown suit, but like he doesn't care about fashion. He's just like, I am at the school to teach. I don't know why everyone here is so distracted. His class, no one pays attention ever. It's just
I know.
A real mess, and he's just frustrated. So why put an effort when no one else puts an effort?
Right? Like that one kid is more concerned with retrieving his Cranberries CD than
Cranberries.
Cranberries. I was so excited.
Elizabeth loves the Cranberries.
I do.
When we were in college, her song was always A Zombie by the Cranberries. Whenever that song would come on at like a bar at the club, I would turn on just to get a reaction out of Elizabeth. Ooh, she just gets into it.
So good. One of our friends sent that to me recently. I guess it like popped up on the radio. So she took a little video of it and sent it to me.
It's such a good song.
You know, Mona May, she's killing it with all these background characters. And then at home, when we finally get to meet Paul Rudd, he's the typical grungy college student of the time.
Yeah, like we just found that grunge movement right here. I was wondering where it's at. It's right here. We found it on Paul Rudd's character.
Yeah.
As he's like scarfing down a jug of orange juice from the carton, which gives me real cringe. No. If I ever catch someone in my kitchen drinking directly from a orange juice bottle, I would say, you're out. You gotta go.
Yeah, I agree. I said, you gotta go get me a new one.
Yes.
And then you're out.
Same with like milk, too. If you drink milk out of a carton, we're not friends anymore.
That's a whole thing. But Paul Rudd doesn't care.
Yeah, can we talk about Paul Rudd for a second?
What, about the fact that he's a vampire?
Yeah, he is a full-blown vampire. He looks exactly the same in this as he does in like Avengers Endgame compared to Clueless. Same person.
Is this what happens when you're just like a nice, happy person?
Yeah, he's just unproblematic. He's kind. He's cool. He's just... You know, like that's your skincare, is just being a good person. He just looks the same.
He looks exactly the same. And I love seeing him next to Cher. He looks like just a college student. And she's like in this sheer, frilly, like top, looking like she's about to walk out onto a runway.
Yeah. She just walks around the house in like her most high fashion still. She just kills it.
I know. Last before we move on, the best dressed gym class ever. They are clearly not going to be participating in any gym-related activities.
No, absolutely not. It's like gym class is their time to just get all dressed up and just stand against the fence and not do anything.
I know. I'm just like, really, what's happening here? What are you doing? I mean, Amber looks great.
Amber by far has the best outfit. She beat Cher and Dionne this time in terms of the fashion game. Amber's hair is just killer. The hair team just absolutely hits it out of the park with Amber.
I know. I love how Cher is the only one who looks like she could actually maybe do some physical activity. And she's just like, do I really need to?
Yeah. They all have an excuse. The poor gym teacher just wants them to hit one ball. Please, someone just hit a tennis ball.
She just wants them to try.
Right? It's like every teacher at the school just hates it here. They're like, no one here does anything. They just get bad grades. They don't do homework. They can't even do PE.
My plastic surgeon said I can't do any activities where balls fly at my face.
It's just so good. I love the monochromatic black and white uniforms. It's just so good.
I know.
I mean, hey, I get it. I only did PE my first year, and then I basically did summer school PE for the rest of the time. Meaning I went to a building and filled out packets about health and basketball and stuff. I did essays. I hated PE.
I was lucky at my arts high school. I could take dance. Just took dance in a health class, and that was all.
Wow, shocker. Spencer and Elizabeth weren't the athletic kids in PE class.
No. Clearly, I think everybody was envisioning that we were star athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to put that misconception to bed now. I know I seem like the football player type, but it's actually, hate to break it to you, not really.
You know, we didn't spend all of our time just sitting in front of the TV, watching TV and movies.
Why play football when you can watch Lord of the Rings? Try to see how many.
For the 300th time.
Yeah. Before I move on, we have a new student coming to the high school.
Oh, we do.
Tay, played by the late, brilliant Brittany Murphy, who I love so much, shows up, and she looks like she's from an entirely different planet.
She does. She really does. Like, clearly everyone at this school has money. But she's just like she's a grunge kid. Like, she clearly loves Nirvana and to skateboard.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah, she looks so different. It just doesn't work. I feel bad, you know, it's hard to move from wherever she's from to like the Beverly Hills area. That's such a culture shock. That's so scary.
I can't imagine it, but she's about to get a real makeover right after our break.
Yes. Oh, I can't wait. Let's take a break.
All right, we're back. And Cher and Dionne are ready to give Tay a makeover. It gives her like a way different sense of style. It gives her some confidence. And Cher tries to extinguish the attraction between Tay and Travis Birkenstock, an admirable but very clumsy slacker. And she steers Tay towards Elton, a very handsome, popular student, but Elton has no interest in Tay. He shows interest in Tay because he wants to get with Cher. And after a very interesting party where he tries to make out with her in his car, she's like, no, buddy, you should like my friend. He's like, no, let's make out. And she's like, no. She gets out of his car. He drives away, leaving her to be mugged and ruin her dress. But everything's okay when she meets, he's not a new student, but he's a very elusive student, Christian. She is like, oh, you're going to be my boyfriend. So they go out. He comes over to watch some movies at her house. And she's like, this is him. Let me seduce him. And later on, Murray explains to Cher and Dionne, like, Christian's gay. And while Cher's a little bit disappointed, she's like, well, I guess he's just my best friend now. And they hang out, and she admires his good taste, and they have a good time until Tay almost gets murdered at the mall. This movie's insane.
Oh my gosh, this movie's crazy.
So they literally turn Tay into a carbon copy of themselves.
Yes, it happens so quickly.
Yeah.
At first, like, Tay is in this flannel, very grungy. She has like a Trolls shirt. It's just a whole mess. After they transform her, she's wearing a plaid skirt, a very nice cardigan sweater, looks very, very cute, and she matches so perfectly with Cher and Dionne. It's just, such a nice, subtle makeover. It just works perfectly.
And it gives her a lot more confidence, like, around the majority of the student body. I would say she had confidence before, because she was talking with Travis, like, a lot. And I was like, oh, Travis. Like, when she rebuffs him, he looks so sad.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Travis. He's, like, actually a good guy. Yeah, he's, like, hella slacker, a skateboarder guy, but he's nice, though. We'll get back to that later. I love just them walking around the high school. It's like one of my favorites is just seeing all the characters in the background too. There's one part where Amber is literally in the background and she's wearing like this head to toe, it looks like striped sweater vibes with this like fallish skirt over it. It's just the craziest thing I've ever seen. You would expect to see it in like How a Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
She looks like a Who sometimes, I will say.
Yeah.
And then at the party, she's wearing that, like, very Christmassy dress.
Yes. Let's just talk about the party. The party was something else. I love it.
And the Alaïa dress.
Ooh, yes. We'll get there. That coat that Cher wears over her Alaïa dress, it's just like out of this world. The black feathers, that red textile, it's just wonderful.
That was custom made to match the Alaïa dress.
Of course it was.
Like, it's so perfect.
This party is so fun. I love seeing all the different characters and like this Christmas setting. Amber's wearing like a really sweet Christmas dress, actually. She looks like, at a party, she's really nice and kind of formal, put together. But then when she's at the high school, she's just putting on like the craziest things ever. I love it.
Craziest things she can think of. I was like kind of confused by Elton in the beginning because they don't like, he's always like hugging and like giving Cher kisses on the cheek. And I was like, who is this? And then they said it was Elton. I was like, oh, okay. Because for whatever reason, he's the only person who has the same name as his character in Emma. He's the only one. And I was like, oh, okay, he's trying to forcibly get together with Cher. Okay, I know exactly who that is.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, as you know, I am not very familiar with any of the Jane Austen pieces, so...
Oh, you will be. Now that I know that, it's on, Spencer.
Just carry me along. I'm here for the ride. Tay's little Christmas outfit, too, is so cute. I love it on her so much. Also, we have to talk about Dionne's look, too. I love this skirt she has with the floral top. It's just so fun. Just so much color in this film. I love all the color in the prints. I
know. Everyone's having fun at this party. Like, nobody's bored. And Cher's having a great time till, like I said, Elton just tries to make out with her on the way home. And she's like, no. I'm getting out. And he heartlessly abandons her on the side of the road.
No.
In LA.
This is terrible. I cannot believe he did that. But then also, I could totally believe he did that because, like you said, he's terrible. But she gets mugged. She gets mugged and ruins her Alaïa dress, Spencer. This is an Alaïa. I was laughing so hard when he asked her to get down on the ground and she starts crying because of what she's wearing, not because she's getting mugged. Not because he might murder her, but because she's going to ruin her Alaïa dress. Let's talk about the Alaïa. I love this. Mona May said in an interview with Vogue, I saw this dress on someone and took it to Amy for the Christmas party.
the search began to try to locate it and get it for free because we didn't have the money to buy it for just one scene. Trying to get the Alaïa dress was a process. There weren't PR companies who were giving you clothes. We had to find someone connected to Alaïa and worry about if we could get the dress for free, if we could alter the dress to fit Alicia. Amy wrote lines for it, and then she designed the jacket to go over it. Like, they had to, like, go on a whole journey just to get that dress.
Wow, that's incredible. But, like, so worth it, though. It became so iconic, and, like, it's just so worth the work.
So worth it. And, like, I wasn't even thinking, like, nowadays, it's so easy to, like, reach out to companies through social media or other things to be like, oh, hey, like, we'll promote your clothes if you just give us some stuff for free. But she was like, we had to hunt them down.
It was a whole different time.
Yeah, it was not an easy process to get that scene.
I love the Christmas party scenes. It was just so fun. But let's go back to high school a little bit. And Christian is the new guy at the school, or he's new to this class at least.
Yeah. Well, no, he just never shows up to that class. He's the person with the highest number of absentees.
Oh. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's so funny because, like, in Jane Austen, his character is based off Frank Churchill, who is, like, his mother died when he was a child and he was whisked away to his aunt's estate. And it's always like, oh, the rumors of Frank Churchill, till he finally shows up. And in the book, it's like he's secretly engaged and, like, that's his big secret that he's trying to hide from everybody. In this, they just made him an absentee student. And his secret is he's closeted, he's gay. And I love that, like, that change for, like, oh, the person, like, Cher does decide to be interested in. Because up to this point, she's like, why would I date a high schooler?
You know, I think it's because she sees a lot of herself in Christian. You know, like, he's well-dressed, he's put together, you know, he's very attractive, has, like, just, like, a energy about him that Cher matches. And I think that's why she was like, oh, I can see myself with this guy. And I just love all the outfits she wears to just try and
seduce him.
Yeah, like, she drops the pen, very, like, bend and snap, you know, she drops a pen. She wants to reveal a little bit of skin in one class, so she wears, like, that tank top that's so stunning. She shows, you know, the plunging neckline. But then it all comes down to the ultimate Calvin Klein dress, which I loved.
This was called the naked dress.
Cher's dad is like, what do you win? You win underwear? She's like, Daddy, it's Calvin Klein.
Exactly. They were like, we had to find something that felt like she didn't have anything on. But it's like, she's a high schooler. You can't put her in just, like, a nude dress. Like, that was, like, a little bit too much. But they're like, a simple white dress to a father would look like she's in her underwear.
Yeah. I mean, this... I just can't even imagine. She's so funny. This dress fits her so perfectly. She looks beautiful in it. It's, you know, I love it so much.
Yeah. And I love this scene at the party because when she goes out with him in that's the first time he's kind of, like, notices her and is like, I love when he's like, you're not going to let her go out like that, are you? And the dad looks up.
I know. I feel like at one point it's like, ugh, no, I shouldn't. But then at the same time, he's like, Cher's going to do what Cher does. I can't, you know, it's really hard to rein this one out.
Yeah. He follows her to the party, dances with Tay, who's really struggling. And I love that little montage of her, like, rearranging her outfit to try and get people's attention.
I love how Christian is just going so hard at this party. He's dancing all night long till he's the only person on this floor, to the point where Cher's like, we're gonna go, because he's just out there just vibing. He's feeling it.
Yeah. He's not vibing so much when he comes over for a movie night.
Yeah.
She wears that gorgeous red dress.
Uh-oh. Another dangerous red dress, Elizabeth. We found the red dress of the episode.
Uh-oh.
We need, like, a jingle for, like, red dress alert, because...
I know.
Red dress
Daniel,
alert.
get on that. This is the red dress of it. It's like, she's like, I'm going to sleep with him tonight. And she goes after him. And he's just like, bye.
Yeah, he's not feeling it at all. I felt like, I haven't seen this movie in a while, so I kind of forgot. But, like, there was, like, a weird energy about them together that I wasn't sure what it was. And then this scene made it clear to me, like, oh, he's not interested in her in that way. And because I was like, dude, like, look at her in this red dress. She looks brilliant. And I just was not understanding what was not clicking, and then I got it.
As soon as he's like, we're friends, right? It's like, oh, okay.
This was the ultimate test, you know. Mona May nude assignment. How can I make Alicia as Cher look so attractive and wantable that, you know, this is it.
I know. And then immediately you see them out shopping together. And this is where, like, he really comes into his own. In an interview with Vogue, Mona May said this about dressing Christian. He's so beautiful and so fun to dress. We had found that the 40s look was the way to go. He embodied that as an actor, too. The inspiration was James Dean. I thought Christian would be the person who would go thrift stores every week and know when they would have deliveries and be friends with all the people who worked there. And it's like, oh, yes, that's him.
I love his looks. I love, like, that black and pink kind of, like, it reminds me of Grease, like this really colorful kind of greaser look. It's very interesting.
He definitely has that vibe about him. I also love that that's what he's wearing when he saves Tay from the creepy guys.
Oh, gross.
That scene went from 0 to 100. I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to fall over.
I know. It's so crazy. And I love Cher in this, like, mint green kind of dress. I just love how they came together, like, so quickly as friends. She's like, oh, well, that's why I like him so much, because we're just, like, we're meant to be very good friends who understand each other.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is in the book, too. And this is one of the first places. She has a couple of references to, like, the Regency era. This is the first of them with the cap sleeve and the empire waisted dress. And I'm like, ooh, yes.
Ooh, that's a good note, Elizabeth. I totally see that. Before we move on, I have to talk about this mall. A little behind the wardrobe fact. This takes place at the West Side Pavilion. The mall is no longer open in the LA area. This is the mall that I worked at, Elizabeth.
Oh, my goodness.
When I was a young lord working at Nordstrom, putting shoes on elderly people.
Wait, is this the job you had when we lived at the Medici?
Yeah. I worked at Westside Pavilion, and it was just known as, like, the Clueless Mall. But at the end of its life, this mall was really taking a downward spiral. It looked nothing like it did in this movie, but I just thought it was interesting, a little, like, relic of LA past.
Yes. Oh, I wish I'd gone there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was cool. Like, there was some good food. The people there were nice. But, you know, just malls are not as they used to. You know, the malls today are not what malls were in Clueless in 95.
They are not. They are not.
So I just had to bring that up. Before we take another break, we are going to finish out the rest of this movie. Okay, Elizabeth, are you ready for the epic conclusion of Clueless?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, so in the final parts of this film, Cher's privileged life takes a negative turn when Tay's newfound popularity strains their relationship. She's popular right now. She survived a run-in with death at the mall. Cher's frustration escalates after she fails her driving test. Miserably. I mean, she bombs this driving test. And she cannot...
Can I just say, all the driving in this movie really stressed me out. Yeah. Like, I am not a good driver. I'm a very stressed out driver. And I was just like, I couldn't handle it.
I know what it's like to drive in LA. It is hard and challenging. But it's not that hard and challenging. I mean, they really struggle. Cher's She hit a parked car. Like, she's all over the place. She almost hit a biker. She's just really spiraling right now. You know, just when you're driving and you just have a lot of thoughts going through your head after a long day, it's hard. Cher returns home in a depressed mood, and Tay kind of makes it worse when she confesses her feelings for Josh. She asks Cher for help in pursuing him. Cher says that Tay is not right for Josh, leading to them having a little bit of their first fight, where Tay ends up calling Cher a virgin who can't drive. I mean, the nerve.
So mean.
Feeling pretty upset, Cher reflects on her priorities and her repeated failures to understand or appreciate the people in her life. After thinking about why she's so bothered by Tay's romantic interest in Josh, Cher finally realizes that she's actually in love with her ex-stepbrother, which we'll talk about soon. Cher begins making awkward but sincere efforts to live a more purposeful life by including captaining the school's Pismo Beach disaster relief effort. It's just ridiculous. Cher and Josh eventually follow through on their feelings for one another, culminating in a tender kiss. Ultimately, Cher's friendships with Tay and Dionne are solidified. Tay and Travis end up dating. Mr. Hall and Miss Geist get married, so there is love at first sight. And Cher catches a wedding bouquet, helping Josh win a $200 bet. She then embraces Josh, and they kiss, living, I'm guessing, happily ever after.
I suppose so.
Whoa.
We'll get to that.
Before we get into what is clearly on the tip of your tongue, let's just talk about Tay surviving her run-in with death. And now she's like the most popular girl at school. Everyone wants to talk to her. Even Amber's like, Tay is so cool. We must talk to her.
Right? But, like, it also makes her kind of mean because Travis comes up and, like, tries to talk to her. And she's like, you're a loser. Why would I want to talk to you? And he's just, like, the saddest little puppy walking away.
That's messed up. Come on, Tay.
And, like, Cher's not dealing well with it. She tries to be like, wait, I was mugged.
Cher, read the room. This is not the time for it. But I get it. She's like, what the heck? People love her so much. All of a sudden, I created her. But it's like, it's not a big deal. But it's just high school drama at its peak, you know? I do love Cher's sweater with the fur on the collars of her sleeves. So good. I love it. Just all the costumes are just, there's so much to look at. You could look at any character and find something that you like in these scenes. I
do love once she realizes she likes Josh, her clothes become so much more simple because she just doesn't know what to do with herself.
Yeah, it's like, it's so funny that clothing is like the reflection of one's mood, because she like suddenly is very like, oh, I'm wearing this top and like some pants, you know, nothing big. Not that she doesn't look cute, but it's just like, you know, compared to like the yellow checkered suit, this is like nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And she starts to realize she's in love with her ex-stepbrother, which, look, I get. Paul Rudd, you know, like you said, he's a vampire and he's one of the world's greatest vampires. Van Helsing really needs to like take a beat on this vampire because he's just, I love him. He's perfect.
This was not that long ago. This would not fly today. Like, he's in college, so he's, like, 18 plus. They don't really specify, like, what year. Okay. She's, like, solidly 16, I think.
Okay.
And I'm just like, you were, like, step-siblings at one point. I'm just like, this is what pornos are made of.
No, not the pornos. All right, let's talk about this. I'm just going to say that I know Elizabeth and I are not going to agree on this completely. I'm afraid to talk to Elizabeth about this because I know I'm about to get a lashing. They were step-siblings 5 years ago, right? For a very short time. They said they were hardly married. They were barely step-siblings. So I am not completely against it.
Clearly, though, her father has kept him in the family.
Yeah, he's a good kid. I'm going to keep him around. But, like, he's not his dad.
They fight like siblings all through this. There was no need for him to be her ex-stepbrother. Like, in the book, he's their neighbor. Like, why couldn't he have just been the neighbor?
Because it's like Emma translated into like the crazy world of Los Angeles. Like, of course he's the ex-stepbrother, because it's weird because everyone in LA is eccentric and funky and fun. I don't know. I get why. The weirder part to me is that he's in college. That is unacceptable.
That is unacceptable.
The ex-stepbrother thing, though, I don't know. Like, I've sat on it. I don't hate it. I get it.
Okay.
Look, you and I come from, you know who. Our good friend Avisha gave me a talking to about this last night because she's like... But like, I also liked Cersei and Jaime in Game of Thrones, but I get why that was weird. That was real sibling incest. And yes, they were my two favorite characters. But aside from that, like Cher and Josh, they were just siblings for a short amount of time. Step siblings. They barely saw each other, barely knew each other. I don't know.
Well, he should not be dating a minor.
Yeah.
Either way.
I would love to hear from the viewers if I'm the only one who feels this way or if we're all just like, no.
Like, I get where you're coming from, but no. That's a solid no.
But Paul Rudd, he just looks amazing. Just, you know, if we take him out of that, he just looks great.
He looks so good. And then the last big fashion moment in this is Mr. Hall and Miss Geist wedding, which I was like, this is adorable. And this is one of those places where Mona May brought back the Regency inspiration. In an interview with Pop Sugar, she said, I love how Cher wears the little capped sleeve empire dress. That was really fun. The film is based on Emma, so that was a bit of a throwback to the time for me. A bit of a thread of the Regency period, because that's what they wore, those kind of dresses with the empire waist. To me, that was something very classical that I wanted to bring into the film. Yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant. I am not very familiar with Emma, but I'm familiar with Regency, and I just love those little notes. And, you know, I didn't see it the first time around because I've, never read the book, but I see those Regency notes, and it makes this film so much more brilliant to me that it's just like the LA interpretation of Emma and this weird, crazy, colorful world that is Los Angeles, Beverly Hills area. It's perfect.
It is so good. Ends on a wonderful note. I loved it. I had so much fun watching this.
I love all their looks at the wedding. There's so much pink happening, so much light blue. I love Dionne's look the most, actually. I love the pink and white little balls in her hair.
Yeah.
So cute. And then this is the most polished Cher look. She looks really grown up. She did a lot of maturing throughout the movie, and she looks like a young, beautiful lady,
She is. And she's one of the bridesmaids, because I think the teachers put it together that she was the one who brought them together.
I was wondering if they're going to put that together. It's pretty obvious. But yeah, I just love the wedding scene. So cute. Mona May is just a pro at putting together a wedding or a party scene. I'm guessing you haven't seen Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, no?
No.
Okay. Elizabeth! Ugh, we're going to add that to season 2. But
no, it ends on a beautiful note.
Even with Josh and Cher having a very passionate kiss at the end?
Yeah, that was kind of gross, but...
That brings us to
I wish I'd been there for Avisha's lecture.
I'm sure we'll hear
about why it's a manipulative, unacceptable relationship.
Oh, God. And with that being said, that brings us to the end of Clueless. Let's put that to bed. I love this movie. I have such a newfound appreciation for this movie after we've done the podcast. It's just... as, costume design enthusiasts, you and I both work in design too. We've had our roles within costume design. So much of what we do comes from this movie. Mona May just really put costume design on the map with this film. And I'm really grateful, honestly, for her work on this film.
Yeah, I'm glad to finally see it because I was so familiar with so much of it just through pop culture. Like it's in pop culture to this day. You see it everywhere. So I was finally excited to see where it came from. And I'm like, oh, this is why it's so popular.
With all this being said, I think it's time you tell everyone what we're watching next week since we're in this conversation.
So Spencer, we are going to watch something that will make you have an even deeper appreciation for this film. We're going back to the source material, to a movie that took Jane Austen literally. We are watching the 2020 adaptation of Jane Austen's Emma.
This is so exciting. We're taking it all the way back. I wanted you to watch Clueless, so now I'm going to watch Emma, and it's going to be a full circle moment.
It's going to be so much fun. I love this adaptation. I was struggling between this and the one with Gwyneth Paltrow, but I really like this new one because it has the same kind of color energy as Clueless has. So I think it's a fun one to compare it to.
And Anya Taylor-Joy is joining us back again. So
yes!
We're just keeping up with the trend.
We are.
Thank you all so much for listening. I had so much fun this week.
I had so much fun. If you liked what you heard, give us a follow, a like, share us with your friends and family. Leave us a little 5-star text review if you really loved us. And I hope you all have a wonderful week.
You said share us with your friends. Get it?
Share with your friends.
Share. All right. Thank you.
Bye. The Art of Costume Blogcast is hosted by Elizabeth Joy Glass and Spencer Williams.
Produced by Elizabeth Joy Glass with associate producer Spencer Williams.
Our sound design and engineering is done by Daniel White.
Follow us on Instagram at The Art of Costume Pod.
Or visit theartofcostumeblogcast.com for all blogcast updates.
For more costume reviews, deep dives, and interviews, visit theartofcostume.com.
A blog dedicated to highlighting the best in costume design.